Jerrod the Barber here, First Class Barbershop, St. Louis. And today we're going to demonstrate on how to do a taper fade. We're going to apply a relaxing slash texturizer to the hair. We're going to give it a wave look. We're going to taper the sides, taper the back. We're going to make it look real fresh. We're going to spray some sideburns. Do a clean up on the mustache and the beard. And let's go. Start off with the Andes taper comb. We'll make sure we comb this hair really nice, really thorough, really good, to make sure that we can get it to its most even potential before it gets cut. We don't want to start a cut. We don't know what's hitting up under the hair. It may be a cowlick here, hitting cowlick in the back. The hair may go a different direction. So what you want to do is be sure to examine the head, go around it, comb it. We've previously done a test on a strand test on the hair to make sure they can get texturized. He hasn't had a chemical in his hair in over 2 weeks, so I think it's safe to say that we can put a texturizer in today. Anything within a 2 week span I would recommend doing. You don't want to over process the hair, you don't want to make it too straight. You don't want to do damage to the scalp ultimately. You still want the scalp to be able to breathe and get proper nutrients. You want to be able to get all that you can get as far as your moisture to the scalp. Natural moisture means a lot to the scalp. I'm going to start out today using an Andes Master with a regular master blade on it. All tools have already been surgically cleaned and sterilized before we started the process with today. So what I'm going to do is start with the open Andes. We're going to start at the low part, nape of the neck. You don't want to go too far up on the fade. You want to keep it below the occipital bone, kind of lower than the ears, because where you want to start this fade at, you're going to gradually move up on the taper. What I'm doing now is going with a 4 guard. Just going to kind of start my fade, start my blend. I see a lot of barbers blending early. I like to kind of, if you will, blend late. I like to start my take my thick lines out first, if you will, before I start a new line. I found out after a lot of years that it's a lot less work if you can get the thick line out first than if I was to start and work my way up. I kind of work my way back down after starting that guideline. You probably can't tell at the moment that it's being faded. I can kind of see what's going on because I am starting with a thicker blade. I have a more experienced eye. This is a technique I've been using for some time now. I've been cutting hair professionally for over 23 years, so I try not to beat around the bush, if you will, as far as taking a lot of, I don't take short cuts, but I don't like to take long cuts either, if that makes any sense. What I'm going to do now is go with a double knot red. This is a universal guard that can be used. I use pretty much universal guards on anything. This guard could be used on all clippers, but instead, I'm a Andes man, so I prefer to use my Andes, so I go back into the fade with that double knot. I'm not a brush barber either. I see a lot of barbers using small brushes to kind of comb through the hair. I'm still a taper comb man. The taper comb kind of gets it all for you. The brushes I was taught in barber school that a brush wasn't sanitary to use during haircuts. I kind of stuck with that. I don't see myself sticking my brush inside of my barber side to get clean. So it's easy to use a taper comb. I comb constantly. As I'm working, I comb, I work and comb, work and comb, work and comb. That way this hair can constantly be at its longest, straightest potential. African American hair curls up, so you really have to keep that hair straight in order to get it as even as possible. Now you can probably see that fade kind of happening a bit there now. I'm going to go back in with a 1 yard. It's kind of like a 1/16, if you will. I use it as my 1. And I go back in and I fade that line again with my 1. And this is a magnetic. I like the magnetic blades. These are kind of new. The magnetic blades, you don't have to worry about them popping off. It's a good blade. It fits on just about any clipper any adjustable clipper, electric motorized clipper. I'm an Andes man. I like to use Andes products. I still use corded clippers. I found out that I've been cutting for a long time, and this is my favorite clipper of all time. It's Andes Master, and it pretty much gets the job done for me. I'm going to only use Andes on this haircut because it doesn't really require much else. I'm going to use an Andes Master. I also use an Andes Fade Master. I call it a surgical blade, but some may know it as a Fade Master blade. I call it a surgical blade. Another Andes Master. These clippers have been with me for probably 20 years. Another reason I use Andes because they last a long time. I use Andes, they last a long time, and it's a very reliable clipper. Now I go with my fade blade in this situation because it gets a cleaner, sharper, crisper cut. It's a more defined blade. It's thinner, it's slimmer. A lot of guys use it for shape-ups. We got shape-ups of afros. When you want a really precise, even cut, it does really well in that area. You can see that taper happening. You can see that being cleaned up. I go back and get all of that. You want to cut in the direction opposite that the hair is growing in. You kind of want to go against the grain. So you find out which way that hair is growing. That's another really good way to find out is, again, by combing the hair. You got to comb the hair thoroughly to find out which direction the grain of the hair is going in. You want to go opposite direction of that grain in order to get your maximum blend. I'm going to go back with my Andes Master. Open, like I started off my guideline with, because I come to find out the best way to get a guideline out is the same thing you put the guideline in with. So you want to go back in and get that guideline out using that same exact method I used in putting it in the first place. That's the only way you get that line out completely. I'm going to go back. I'm going to clean up all of that. Stay low. Notice I'm not putting the entire blade on the scalp. I'm kind of using the angle. I'm kind of using that section because that's all I really want to touch is that bottom part of that hair. I want to get just get that in there. You notice that he got some hair going in a different direction. So what you want to do is kind of find that against the grain area and go do just that. Go against the grain. What you got there now is a pretty clean taper fade. Now that's a clean taper fade we got there. Just using primarily one clipper. We went back in with an Andy's Master surgical fade blade, clean it up a little bit. Now we'll come back later in our haircut and get that all the way right. What we want to do now is move to the temple. I like a temple fade. We call this a taper fade in St. Louis. I've heard it called plenty of different things. We call it a taper, a temple fade. I've heard it being called temp fade, Caesar, or whatever. But what we want to do is create that line again using an open Andy's Master. You want to take it right to around, maybe around the temporal bone. Right there, you want to start maybe right here, maybe mid-ear to about right there. That's where you want to start that fade. I constantly comb to make sure I got a pretty much even line there. That'll always matter in the end. I'm going to use the same technique I used in the back. In the front, I'm going to go again with the 4-guard green universal. I'm going to work that line out from the bottom, or from the top to the bottom. We started at the bottom with the Master Andy's open, and now we're going with a pretty much open 4-guard on the Andy's Master. To start that line out early, to get it out sooner, it'll be a lot easier to get that line out sooner than later. I don't know if you can see that fade happening, but it is happening already. I'm going to go back in again with the 2-aught universal red. It's about halfway open right now. I'll work this lever back and forth a little bit to kind of get different areas that may be thicker than others. So I'll work this lever back constantly, back and forth. So sometimes it can go from all the way open, sometimes all the way closed to the middle. And you really need to listen. You need to listen to if the hair is being cut, or if there's no hair being cut at all, by the sound of the blade. I like to keep my blades as quiet as possible. The quieter the blade, the better. It keeps the kids from being scared when you're doing haircuts. The quieter the clipper, the easier the haircut to give to young children, and you can hear what's going on in there. But I tend to find out that the older the blade, the quieter the cut. But you don't want to keep old blades around too long, unless you just get one reliable blade. Now, we've all had that one reliable blade. What I'm going to do now is kind of hit this clip over comb area. It's kind of thick, so I just kind of want to clip over comb this area here to kind of get a line out that I kind of see. Clip over comb as a technique. That a lot of the more experienced barbers use. It's pretty easy, but if you see thick spots, I definitely recommend clip over combs. It's a time saver. I'm going to go back to my Andy's Master with my fade blade. That's a smooth blade. It doesn't have the ridges like the other one, like my regular Andy's Master. This one has a smooth cut, like I explained to you on the back of the haircut. And I'm going to go back in with another, for the 116, another universal, the magnetic purple. I'm going to work that small line at the bottom. I'm going to stay low. I'm going to listen. I'm going to flick. I'm going to work this lever back and forth. I'm going to hit it with angles. Notice how I'm not putting all of the teeth in there. I'm only hitting that corner, hitting small spots that need to be taken out. You don't want a lot of weight in that haircut, especially when we apply that texturizer. You want to make sure everything is even and smooth. The key to a great texturizer is a good haircut. You have to give it a good haircut and an excellent shampoo, and we'll get to that next. When we get to the shampoo phase of the haircut, the shampoo is very essential when you're creating waves. Going back to my Andes, again, the same blade that started this line, I'm going to take it out. I have to take it out. The same liquid you put it in order to get it at its maximum blend. Hitting that angle, I'm not using the entire clipper. Kind of hit this fade at kind of maybe like a 30-degree angle. I don't come straight with it. Angle with it because it's matching the contour of the fade and cut in the face. I kind of want to pay attention to that also. Now you can see that fade is pretty much clean. It's in there. We'll come back and clean that up later portion of the haircut after the texturizer. Because when you add that texturizer, so things that you cut seem to have maybe grew back just maybe a fourth of an inch, because what you're doing is straightening hair out with the texturizer. When you do African American hair, we use texturizers or relaxers as a straightening mechanism for rather curly hair. Our hair is pretty curly, so we want to make sure we can get it at its straightest potential in order to cut it evenly. I'm going to go back in now, again, with the Andes Master. Got again, 4 guards with a verse 3. Put that line in there with the open Andes, as you can see, maybe like a 30-degree angle maybe. I'm going to go back in, going to clean that up with the big 4 green universal guard. We're going to start with it closed, and we're going to work our way to get it open as we get deeper into the head. You want to get that fade right around that temporal bone. I'm going to change that 4 out, put a bevel lock back on, red universal. I'm going to work that line again, work it. I got it closed all the way. Closed all the way. I'll open it up gradually. And as you become more experienced, you'll come to find out that you'll just start working that lever, without even thinking about it. It becomes kind of like second nature. You don't have to look at the clipper. You don't have to really do much of anything once you know what it is, exactly what it is that you're doing. You can kind of see that fade being worked out. We worked out a thick line first. Now it's getting gradual to the open 1, or the open Andes Master. What we're going to do now is go with the 1. Or 1/16 magnetic purple blade, and we're going to work that again. I'm hitting it with the angles. Because I don't need to go directly into the hair with this whole entire clipper. You don't want to create another line for yourself. You want to work these lines out. You kind of want to flick it in, flick it out, The longer you stay in one spot, the more you're going to create another line, the more work you're going to create for yourself. I'm going to get this line out now. Again, for what I put it in with, it's an open Andes. I'm going to work that angle. I'm going to work that angle. I'm constantly combing. I got my Andes taper comb. I don't use brushes like I said before. It's just not a sanitary look. I like to keep it clean in between each cut. And again, I've been cutting hair for over 23 years, so I was never taught to use a brush. A lot of the newer barbers use brushes, and I'm not knocking that. I see a lot of excellent barbers out here use a lot of techniques that I don't. I still go freehand without gloves. I see a lot of barbers use gloves, but I will be using the gloves to apply the relaxant to the hair. Now what we want to do now, because we have completed what I consider the bulk of our taper work on this haircut. I still see a few little imperfections in there, but again, that's something we'll clean up once we get the texturizer out of the hair. Now what I'm going to do now is go back through the hair using my Andes taper comb. I'm going to comb through it. We're going to cut it down 1/4 of an inch. Not a lot, because what you want to do is keep the hair thick but not too thick when you apply the texturizer. You want to create this wave. You can almost see the wave patterns forming in the hair. So what you want to do is accentuate what you already have. So we don't want to cut that off and try to create something that we didn't have in the first place. So what we want to do is put that foreguard back on that Andes Master. This is not the fade blade. This is the Andes Master blade with the ridges. This one keeps it a little thicker than that Andes Master fade blade. The fade blade is an experienced blade. We call it a surgical blade because it's surgical. It really does afros well, shape ups well. Just open that all the way up. So with the grain, you want to start what the cowlick is. You want to start right where the swirl begins. Is where you want to start cutting. So what you want to do is go from there, follow the grain of the wave, follow the grain of the hair, open this all the way up. You want to get a lot of that weight out of there. You don't want to texturize hair that you're not going to use. You don't want to waste product or time. We're going to go all the way around from our guide point. It's almost like a circle. You ever heard the term 360 waves? That's where it comes from. It comes from the circle pattern. I know a lot about waves, I know a lot about texturizers, I know a lot about haircut. I've done thousands of these. Every head is different. I'm recommending knowing the history of the client's chemical usage. You don't want to overprocess the hair like I stated earlier. You don't want to damage the scalp. You don't want hair falling out. And most importantly, you don't want an unsatisfied client that may never return because you weren't experienced with using chemicals. I'm almost done going around the entire head. Using the 360 method. Always see what you're doing. Always stand in front of the client so there won't be any tricks up front. Never ever push the clipper from behind like this. You don't know what's happening up here. You can run into a cowlick. It's going in a different direction. They're not going to be happy if you don't have that hair even, especially in the front. So what you want to do is use your chair. You really don't have to move out of your spot if you use your chair. Spin it See what you're doing in the front while all along following that pattern. I hold my clipper a little down further because I'm from a time where guards didn't stay on clippers. So it's habitual for me to constantly hold my guard. Nowadays, you have a lot of newer guards that just change the game. You have a lot of newer clippers that change the game. You have cordless clippers and whatnot. Again, like I said, I'm an old school corded guy. And for this haircut, I'm only using 4 clippers, but I'm only using 2 types of clippers. The Andy Master with the surgical fade blade, and 2 Andy's outliner 2s that I modified myself. Now, as you can see, this hair is pretty much even. We got it down to a really nice level. You can see the wave pattern. What we're going to do from here is straighten out these waves with a texturizer, make it look really smooth, give it a nice shine. You want to clean off the client before you apply the texturizer. It's not necessary to the haircut. You want to try to keep this clean as possible. What I'm going to do now is apply my glove. I'm going to apply what we call base. All around the edges of the haircut. Where the hair meets the skin is where you want to apply your base. You don't want that texturizer to irritate any open skin. So what we're going to do is apply a thin layer of base. And what I'm about to apply now is a no-lie chemical relaxer to the hair. I'll start where the thickest of the hair is, and that's the center. Work my way around. I have a nice amount that I cup into my hand. We're going to work that all the way. Try not to scratch the scalp. You don't want to irritate the scalp. You don't want it to irritate. You don't want it to burn. Ask your customer constantly how he's feeling. Touch any spots that's not touched by the relaxer. You're going to hit every portion of the hair. Very precise. You want to have half unrelaxed hair. On one side is rather coarse. One side is smooth all the way down to the tape. All the way down to the tape. And texturize all that hair. All behind the ear. Use your fingers. Work it in. Although I'm right-handed, for some reason, I always found it better to use my left hand. Get a little bit more texturize on your glove to do the exact same thing to the other side. You want to make sure the hair hasn't been shampooed the same day, 24 hours. You don't want it to start burning. You can already see the relaxer working because the hair is getting smooth. You cannot work slow. This is a fast process. You have to work fast in order to capture. You want to capture those waves. You don't want to straighten it out too much, or it's too straight. You want to capture what it is that you got. All you want to do is accentuate the look that's already there. Now it looks like we have the relaxer pretty much maybe 99% covered here. Maybe just a few spots. We remove our glove, get your towel, clean up any excess areas. Sometimes I even go back in and spray a little all sheen around where I put the base. to act as a base filler. Next, I'm going to go with the big tooth. I call it a texturizer comb. It's not quite a taper comb, like my Andy's comb. It's bigger. You don't want to do texturizer with your taper comb. You go with the bigger tooth. You want to start again from the middle, from where I cut. Start at my cut. Work your way around. You see the wave pattern. I start right at the crown. Right at the parietal bone. Circle. You see the wave pattern start to form. I tend to use super or regular. I never really go mild because, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. And I can kind of gauge when the hair is breaking down to its straight potential, to its straightest potential. As you can see, it's getting straight. I take the back of my relaxer comb after combing it through. And I don't dig through it. I comb through it lightly because you don't want to irritate the scalp again. Comb through it lightly. I take the back of my relaxer comb and I smooth what I previously combed with my relaxer comb. I go all the way through. You want to make sure all of the hair is included. What I'm going to do now is comb back through after cleaning my comb off. I'm going to comb back through to make it an easy rinse at the shampoo bowl. Okay, now as you can see, we put the relaxer in. We applied our relaxer. We're at the shampoo bowl. We combed it back through after smoothing it out. And we're going to shampoo it out. Make sure that water is warm. The warm water reverts straight hair. What we're going to do is use fairly warm water to rinse out the texturizer. You want to make sure you get it all rinsed out well. You don't want to leave any leftover texturizer relaxer in this hair. On the hair, on the scalp. I'm going to rinse this well. You want to use warm, almost hot water to revert it for a wave style. If you want to pull those waves in tight, you want to lock it in. You want to make sure you get all that base around the scalp. You're going all over. The center of the hair to all the edges with the water. I'm going to use my other hand to make sure I'm working that texturizer out of the hair. I'm rinsing constantly, working it with my hand. Notice how I'm going in the same circle motion. The same circle motion. When I cut the hair in, that I apply the texturizer in. Waves are really strict hairstyle. You want to keep that consistent pattern to maintain the optimum look. What I'm going to do now is add stabilizer to lock in those waves. And stabilizer plus to the scalp before my shampoo. And what you'll find to learn is the texturizer is still active. And I only rinsed it and I'm adding stabilizer. The texturizer chemical is still active on the scalp until I shampoo it. Not as active because it's primarily rinsed out. This way I can still manipulate the waves. You can see it happening. I'm using my soft shampoo brush. And I just comb through. I smooth and I brush lightly. Because like I said, that texturizer is still active and you don't want to irritate the scalp. So I'm smoothing. And I'm making sure that stabilizer is covered throughout the entire scalp, covering all of the hair. Now if you can see, the hair looks pretty good now. This looks pretty good. You can kind of tell what you're working with. We're going to come back again to our warm water. We're going to rinse that stabilizer out of there good. Still going in the same pattern that I cut the hair in, that I comb the hair in, that I relax the hair in. This water is pretty hot. Put that back. We're going to go with neutralizing shampoo. Neutralizing shampoo is the only shampoo you use when you apply texturizers. If you want to get this texturizer out of your hair, don't go home and use Hurt Plus, Selsun Blue, Head and Shoulders, unless it's neutralizing. Usually it probably isn't, but I will be shocked if it was. I'm going to take my thumbs, I'm going to work the perimeter of the hair line. In order to get that base out, I want to hit those ears to make sure I got that base off of there. That's very important when it comes to the lining portion of the hair. You want to make sure that the scalp is completely dry so your lining can be at its most crisp potential. I'm going to take my shampoo brush. I'm going to go again with the same grain that I went with in the beginning to create the 360 pattern. I'm going all the way around. I'm smoothing and I'm brushing. Now this hair is relaxed, it's kind of doing what I want it to do. Go back again, my warm water. Rinse that neutralizing shampoo out of there. You may notice I have a chemical apron on. It's not a cloth apron, it's kind of plastic, if you will, just in case any chemicals splash on it. It won't penetrate through to my clothes or create a stain and it won't come out. I'm going to apply a second shampoo. Apply it one more time. The shampoo is good, just to be certain that all the relaxer is out of there. We first applied our stabilizer. We applied one shampoo. This is our second shampoo. I'm going to comb through. Again with the shampoo brush, keeping it in the same exact pattern that we had at first. Smooth it down. Now rinse, 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 wash and repeat. Repeat the same step over again. You can feel it now. I can feel it with my hand that the hair is clean. The secret to shampoo and hair is, on that last shampoo, you should be able to use a drop. I mean, literally one drop of shampoo, and it will lather an entire head. That is a good mark that the hair is clean. You can't necessarily tell if it's clean by it being squeaky clean, as they say. One drop of shampoo should lather an entire head on the second to third shampoo if it's clean. What I'm going to do now is use a leave-in conditioner. This is really what's going to lock that wave in. Lock those waves in. It smells good. Kind of like a moisturizer, leave-in conditioner for this style. Combing it all the way in. Combing it, sticking to the same pattern. You can literally see the waves just popping off the head, off of the scalp.
Now that we're out the shampoo bowl, and you can literally see our waves just happening. I mean, it's almost like magic. And that's a good look. Look how nice and smooth that looks. Look at that. That's really good. Now what I do, kind of like, because I consider myself the wave king, that's what I do. In order to keep it locked in under that dryer, I apply a stocking cap to my customers, to every client that gets this, because we want to put him under the dryer, and so this hair can lock in at this same exact look. We're going to lock that in. We're going to take our client over to the dryer. Let him sit in here with like a medium temperature, 10 to 8 minutes. Okay, we just got our client out of the dryer, and we're going to remove the stocking cap. As you can see, the haircut is pretty much in place. What we're going to do now is clean it up, make it look really nice, give it a really sharp lining, clean up any weight that we still may have left inside of the fade, the tapers. Like I said, the hair tends to get a little bit longer. It's a little bit more precise as you remove the texturizer because it's long, a little longer than it was because it's stretched out. I'm going back again with my taper comb, starting at the middle, going around in that circle to create that 360 effect. All we did was accentuate what was there. Don't make it harder on yourself. Work with what you got. What I'm going to do now is take an astringent, go back around that lining area. Everywhere I applied that base, I'm going to go back with a clean towel and clean all of that area up. This is going to create a really sharp line and make the haircut look really crisp at the end. Get anything out of there that may resemble base that's just greasy, you don't want any grease residue left over because it will not mesh well with your liners. What I'm going to do now is go back again. I got my Andy's Master with 4 Garth Green Universal. I'm going to go back because I see weight left from where we previously tapered. I see a little bit of weight left, so I'm going to clean all of that up. We want to be sure that the cut is even. We want to make sure this cut is an even flow, an even taper. So go against that grain. This hair is kind of going to the side over here because remember, it's going in a circle. It's going in a 360 pattern. So you want to go back, clean all of that up, open it as you get deeper into the hair, close it as you get down further towards the nape of the neck. I'm going to go back in with the 16th 1 guard. I'm going to hit it with the angles. Constantly combing, hitting it with the angles, constantly combing. I'll take it off. I'm going to open that Andy's up again and make sure I have a really clean fade towards the bottom. where that line was once created. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to get my Andes with my Fade Master blade. I'm going to put that 1/16 purple magnetic universal guard on there, and I'm going to cut. If you can remember, when we first cut the hair down, we used this like a 4 guard to cut it down before the texturizer. As you can see, the texturizer smoothed the hair out so much that I can skip a guard. This guard would be next, but I won't get any hair cutting with the grain with this guard. So the hair is actually this length thick, but we're going to cut it down to about a 1/16 inch thick with the grain. And we're going to kind of close this maybe halfway. I'm going to listen to see how much hair I'm picking up. It doesn't seem like much, so the more hair, I'm going to close it to listen to see how much hair I'm cutting and to kind of see, because we don't want to have a bunch of frizzy hair left over. We want to smooth it out all the way around, starting from the center. You want to smooth this hair out, going all the way around. You can see this is looking pretty good so far. Again, I was using my Andes Master with my surgical blade with the purple 1/16 magnetic guard. I'll go back, clean up my customer. I'm going to start my lining in the back. What I'm using now is an Andes Outliner 2 that I self-modified. I cut it to release the tension around the neck. It gives a lot smoother, cleaner cut. Something I did a while back. I see they're doing it now more often and selling it like that. It comes with a metal guard on the top of it, and I usually remove the metal guard when I first get it to release the tension. Sometimes that's just not enough. I started cutting. I actually have another pair that I started cutting on. There was enough tension without having to cut the entire back off. These, actually I cut the back off of these also using a small hacksaw. And they work just great. Like I say, Andes, I use another quarter clipper because it just gives me the power that I need. I'm going to go in on the sides where I see that hair is uneven. And you can see I'm barely even touching it. But because that modified blade is so well, it just snaps that hair right off. I go right in at an angle, and I go around with that modified blade. Come back, I clean up that neck area, all around behind the ear. I spin it. I do the same thing on this side. And I do this because it allows me to see the fade better. You know, I can come back, see if there's any lines in the fade, because this kind of gives me a guide. to let you know how that looks. We're going to come back around to here. You don't want to go too high. You kind of want to keep that line as natural as possible. You can see that's nice, straight. That's a good look. I'm going to come back to this front. I want to snap this hair off. Right there, we want to try to keep it as natural as possible. So we want to snap that off. Right there at its longest point. Comb it out, make sure you got them all out. You have a nice sharp line there. You comb that out. You do the same thing here. I'm not going to apply that whole blade. I'm going to start with that angle. And I'm going to work my way around with both angles. I work my way all the way around. Clean all of that up. Bring that down. Try to create a side burn. I always think of the letter C. What I want to do is try to create a C. Now, if I got myself enough precise looking C, that's a nice sharp line. You can see that's pretty sharp. I like to create like a pendulum type style with my cutting. You can see I'm using both hands, kind of using it like a compass. The pressure is coming from this hand. I'm just kind of holding it with the right hand. I'm pushing down with the left thumb to create the pressure. Coming back again around, continuing back from the back of the ear to the front of the ear. You can see that side burn is coming up nice. Thin is the way these days. We don't really do the pork chop side burns anymore. In the 70s, shaft type style. More of a thin side burn, or even sometimes faded out. As you can see, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go back in there, kind of clean up a few things I see in that taper. I'm using my fade blade again. But before my green full guard, I got it open. And I'm hitting a lot of those darker spots where I see a lot of that weight was left after the texturizing. You can see that is just a clean taper. Really no lines at all. I'm going back in with my Andes Master open, just to be sure I got that line out of there. I'm a little anal when it comes to that, so I'm going to make sure I get that. I'm going to spin the chair around. Do the same thing to this side. I'm going to create a nice, sharp. really don't have to use a razor. You know, when you have a really good liner like this, you know, a lot of people use razors. A lot of people tend to think that I use razors on my haircuts, and I do a lot of the times. But a lot of times, you really couldn't tell the difference between the razor and the Andes modified outliner 2. Again, I'm going to bring that up with the edge and kind of create a C. You can see that's just kind of just creating itself, really. That's just a really clean edge. You know, hardly any pressure. Ask your friends about Jerrod the Barber and his lines.
They're really crispy, they're really sharp. That's what I do.
A lot of barbers normally put my lines.
I modify my own clippers. I do my own. I add my own blades. I set my own blades. I add my own cords if they ever short out. I can really take apart an Andy's clipper and work it really well. I've been doing this since maybe I was maybe 15 or 16 years old. So I'm really rehearsed in the art of clipper repair, clipper work.
Going back in now to just clean up that taper a little bit with the Andes Master. Clean that up really well. Make sure we don't have any weight or any lines left in there. And like I said, it already looks pretty clean, but I'm a stickler, so we're going to make sure that that thing is A1. Okay. Now we finish our taper on this side, on both sides. I'm just going to hit this front just to be sure we get it laying down. You don't want it to look like it's going to flip off like a hat. Later on, you don't want it to frizz up, be bushy or thick. So we're going to make sure that that is laying down pretty good. I'm going to grab my Andes Outliner 2, start from the center, and work my way around. I don't want to dig back into that lining. I want to keep it natural. We can add a little bit of enhancer in there on the light spots just to give it a really even, precise look. But you never want to take that lining back out of its natural position. You don't want it to grow back all funky looking. And it's really a bad haircut when you take that lining back too far. Again, I'm going to do this side just like the other side. I'm going to keep that line as straight as possible all the way across. Even though this has a little lighter here than it is in the center, we can fix that later. What I'm going to do now is go in with a little chromosome spray, black on each of those corners, just to give it a really, just to match all of that hair up even in the lighter spots. Gives it a really nice finish. A really nice look. Do that. You want to go back again. With the handy liners. And just get anything that's perhaps leftover hair or any overspray you want to get off of these liners. And I use these rather than the full cut ones because they create a different torque than the other clippers. The other ones are really sharp. This one can kind of give it a different cut. It can catch some of the hairs that liner didn't maybe catch. Shape up the beard with a halfway open Andes. Master, halfway open. I'm going to give it a smooth with the grain all the way around. Under the chin. Again, I'm going to go in with an astringent around the mustache and beard just to give it a really clean cut. Make sure there isn't any oil residue, anything around the hair. I can clean it really well. I want to come in at an upside down angle for my outliners. Kind of put an angle on that. And simple as that. Piece of cake. I'm going to do that with the beard. I'm going to come down, upside down angle to kind of create a really sharp line. Right under that neck.
Ask your friends about Jerrod the Barber and his lines.
Come back at an upside down angle to get all that excess hair from under there. You really got to try to be ambidextrous. Try your best. I know we got a lot of people that just right-handed or left-handed, but every opportunity you get, try to use your weaker hand because it helps out on a lot of the other side of the head. It really helps out on afros, box cuts. So if you're right-handed, learn how to use your left hand. If you're left-handed, learn how to use your right hand. Like basketball. All the pros can use both hands. We all pros, right? You want to try to stretch it out. Don't be afraid to get your customer to participate in the haircut. Right down, because ultimately they want to look their best. Go back in with my handies shaver, clean it up really well. Get your shears, kind of make sure you can get any excess hair left over. Don't be afraid to use those shears. You don't see a lot of shear work on urban styles, African American styles, but believe me, use them. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go with a grease, smooth, not a thick pomade, but a light pomade that I found. It's gonna really bring this haircut to life. Just apply a little bit to my hands, rub it in. Start from my center spot again. Work it in the direction in which the waves are going. As you can see, I mean, it's already just shining. You know, I absolutely love this haircut. I love this style. It'll never go out of style. It's a nice traditional businessman look. It looks really clean and crisp. It's not a rustic more street look. This says a lot about your style, a lot about what you may be doing with your life. Go back just to be sure we're precise. After rubbing that grease on, I'm gonna touch it again with my orange liner, just to be sure. These liners are really the essence of the sharp cut. You really don't need a razor. You know, a razor would really be pointless in this haircut. And as you can see, it's about as good as it gets right here. Put a little all sheen on there. Clean your client off. I think right there, it's a clean taper fade with a texturizer applied to it. We add a little grease, a great shampoo, clean taper. Hey, what can I say? Jerrod the Barber, signing out from First Class Barbershop in St. Louis. Master Barber. Hey, what can I say? See you later.